From the SF Gate, extremely annoying, the persistent cough taking over the Bay Area. SF Gate senior reporter Amanda Bartlett asked local experts, we're going to have an expert weigh in on what to do if you get that nagging cough that just won't go away. And they love this. They love the power and the control of Rona, so they're going to try to do it again without actually saying Rona. They want you sick, and they think you're stupid, so they're going to try to do it again. But my name's Eric. This channel is called Report and Opine. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm absolutely begging you.
I'm begging you, please. Come on, please.
Because the algorithm is a monster. They're trying to get me to stop, but it's not going to happen. So it would help if you engage with the content. It would help me even more and cost you a little bit of money if you wanted to buy my book, New York City 2020, Gotham Unglued, on Amazon.com. That link will be in the description. But they say, it kept me up at night. It followed me to work, to parties, on the train. It disrupted my afternoon walks and date nights and made people give me dirty looks as I passed them in the produce section at grocery outlet. And here they are, this artsy-fartsy writing. They're rarely going to report any facts, but they're gonna paint this rosy picture, I guess, of even having a cough. It was the cough that wouldn't quit. The symptoms started innocuously. In late January, I noticed a tickle in the back of my throat, a sniffle here or there, a dull throb of a headache that was noticeable, but wasn't so bad that I couldn't go about my daily routine. And they're getting paid to write this stuff, to turn you into a zombie. I mean, it's just bizarre. Soon enough, it blossomed into a full-blown cold. No, well, that doesn't even exist anymore. It's either Rona and you're going to die, or it's nothing. There's no in between. The first I'd had in probably 3 years. I buried myself under a den of blankets in my Oakland apartment until somebody broke in and took all my stuff.
Surveillance video shows two burglars running out of Angela Jeffers' home in Oakland. The one in dark clothing is holding a pillowcase she says the thief took from her bedroom to carry out the jewelry they stole from her.
To just bust in my home and take my things like it's no problem. It's terrifying. It's frustrating.
They broke in by jumping the fence and breaking her back door.
Watching Gilmore Girls reruns and eating nothing but soup. A few days later, I was able to emerge from my cocoon, but my unrelenting hack had other plans. What if there was another underlying issue? I fretted. Yet when I called my doctor's office, they couldn't have sounded more unsurprised. Yep, we've been hearing about this from a lot of patients lately. Really? Bro, and there's no way to know. And they do the same thing on the local news. And they get some doctorb.
You tried the best, now try the rest. Call 1-600-DOCTORB. The B is for bargain.
Some UCSF professor who says, it's like an Asian guy. He's like, there's a lot of COVID still around. We need to be mindful, and traveling is coming up, and you should be very scared because you're going to die soon. Even though it's not going to be from Rona. It's going to be from a California criminal. But that's a different story. We've been hearing a lot about this from patients lately, they told me. Didn't they know I was probably what? Oh, okay, is that a joke? I was instructed to show up for an appointment the following day for a chest x-ray to make sure I didn't have walking pneumonia. Multiple Rona tests had already yielded negative results. Oh yeah, I tried. I tried to do Rona 4 years later, but that wasn't the case. They cleared me and sent me home with a shrug, a swag bag of Tessalon pearls, aka cough suppressants that didn't help, and few to no answers. Nevertheless, the cough persisted. My friends started to feel wary of hanging out with me. Is that normal? One of them asked after one of my particularly long raspy fits. This probably isn't even real, bro. Like, you guys you're completely untrustworthy, and you can just make stuff up. Oh, I'm sick. You sound like a little kid who just doesn't want to go to class. Oh, I'm sick. What? Who cares, bro? Go back to where you're going to just stay in your bedroom and continue to write clickbait nonsense like this? Okay, one of them asked after one of my particularly long, raspy fits that were beginning to sound like a panicked honk of a goose preparing to be sent off to slaughter. Okay. I wasn't sure. After another week, I was back in line at the pharmacy. Well, because you're a hypochondriac and you've probably destroyed your immune system with, enough pharmaceuticals to kill a horse. This time I was administered an albuterol inhaler with a long plastic tube coming out of it that was supposed to help me breathe in the medicine more easily. When I used it, my boyfriend joked that I looked like Frank Booth in Blue Velvet. Needless to say, it did not work. My third visit, I was exasperated and dog-tired from staying up with my cough for hours the night before. I took a seat on the flimsy white paper cover, and they'd paint these pictures. My doctor shone a light in my ear, down my throat, inside my nostril. Aha, he said, when he reached the last orifice, as though he'd won the diagnosis lottery. You have inflamed nasal passages. Okay, so all that to say, you had a cough and it's inflamed nasal passages. And I'm no doctor. I haven't read this, but my guess is you just, I don't know, drink some hot tea, drink, warm tea, some lemon, I don't know, gargle with salt water, a little bit of garlic. You're going to be fine, bro. But you're in San Francisco. You're a weirdo hypochondriac, and you're probably still going to go to the gay bash this weekend. I'll bet that. I was given a glorified neti pot, a nasal spray, some codeine for bedtime, and a how-to guide on a breathing exercise intended to help have a more productive cough. And I know this is like medical jargon, but this is the level of people that need a how-to guide on breathing. Right? This is what we're dealing with here. As in shoot out the mucus. Okay. He told me all I could do at this point was ride it out and assured me I wasn't contagious. And off I skeptically went on my merry way. But to my surprise, the last round of meds seemed to work. Or maybe the cough was just done working its way out of my system. Either way, by the end of the week, I barely noticed it anymore. And my friends and family were no longer alarmed by my presence. And they're just trying to rehash. They're just trying to bring up the memories of Rona. Remember when you were so scared? Somebody coughed in Trader Joe's and you thought you were going to die? So you killed them instead, right? I mean, it's all absolute nonsense, but they know they can get away with quite literally anything because I guess people are still buying it. I don't know. Others who were dealing with the same pesky ailment shared stories of consolation. The entire ordeal had taken up 47 days of my life, longer than any cold, flu, or other illness. So I guess basically what you're saying is Rona wasn't that scary, this isn't that scary, and you lived to tell the tale. Is that basically the gist of this story? Is that if this was longer than any cold you've ever had in your life, and you're talking about it, and there's really you took some COVID tests, right? Basically what you're saying is this is actually worse than Rona and none of it mattered. It was all completely fake, which we knew, but I will never let them live this down. Of course, we remember the 6 feet social distancing. We don't know where that came from. Oh, no, somebody knows where it came from, but you're just not going to tell us. It's completely despicable, and without tooting my own horn, I knew it was fake from the very first day, right? And you could go through my Instagram, right? I was on the news. I talked to the people at the Rona test workshop or whatever with the college kids and the giant Q-tips, right? It was all completely fake and phony. It was plainly obvious from the start. And I don't really consider myself incredibly, well-versed in medical science or doctors, transformers, and none of that stuff. But it was just so obvious. But the propaganda and the brainwashing was so heavy. I was relieved to be on the other side of it, but wondering what on earth it was and why it was supposedly afflicting so many people in the Bay Area. Well, that's just probably not true. It probably just didn't happen. You guys are just longing for the days of Rona. So you want to do it again. That's all. I turned to Dr. Jahan Fahimi, the medical director of the emergency department at UC San Francisco, to see if he knew anything about the stubborn symptom and how prevalent it had become. So we brought in a doctor. I don't have any specific data on whether or not this is rising, he said over the phone, but I will tell you that anecdotally, a lot of people have been asking me that exact same question. Doubt it. I doubt it, right? This is the same city where the dog walker faced a racist doll and then his house caught on fire because the person who sent him the doll was so angry with him that he set his house on fire, right? You guys have lost all credibility, right? Obviously the media, but the population of San Francisco as a whole is worth nothing. In most people, including me, the culprit was a post-infectious cough, essentially one that lasts longer than 2 or 3 weeks after an acute respiratory infection. Oh, this is okay. So it's a long COVID thing. This is, oh, you guys want to talk about long COVID? It's just an excuse, right? It's all completely fake. It doesn't make sense. When your body is done fighting off the illness, you're left with lingering mucus and sinus congestion that manifests in the form of postnasal drip or inflammation, which irritate the throat and airways enough to generate a cough that just won't stop, he said. We know that this occurs in, I would say, roughly 1 in every 4 colds that people catch. Oh, so this is starting to sound eerily like Rona, okay? Which we knew it was pretty similar from the start. And some people might have said it's just the cold or the flu with the marketing team. And that's basically what they're proving here. This rings of the Time magazine article about the secret cabal that saved the election because they think we're all that stupid. And you can certainly expect it to last around 3 to 6 weeks. Okay, so now you have a cold for 6 weeks. Okay. After Rona, after you injected yourself with 2 ounces of forced pharmaceuticals. All right. That's what people are expecting. And they think something is really wrong, but it's just that mucus and inflammation. So there's nothing wrong. You're a hypochondriac and there's really nothing wrong, and you're just whining about it. Fahimi doesn't think this phenomenon is necessarily new, but there are a few factors at play that make it seem unusual. For one, our immunity against viruses has largely changed since the pandemic caused us to isolate from each other. Yeah, and people said this from a long time ago, that you're putting yourself in bubble wrap into a cocoon, so that when you come out of it, you're not going to be able to handle anything. And it's literally happening in front of our eyes. For our immunity against viruses has likely changed since the pandemic, caused us to isolate from each other and the usual cold viruses we carry. Yeah, everybody knew this. No, not everybody. But a lot of people, and a lot of rational people, knew exactly what was going on, but you fell for it, and now you're complaining even more? We all went through periods of time where we were social distancing. No, not all of us. I certainly didn't. I mean, I guess people different. I was walking through New York, and people would walk these huge circles around me as if I was contagious. It was all completely ridiculous. And now to say, oh, everybody was social distancing, even though years ago now, the establishment has come out and said, we don't really know where that came from. And maybe whoever said that doesn't really know where it came from, but it came from somewhere, and somebody knows who started it, but they're not going to tell us, and then they write articles like this. These people are disgusting. We all went through periods where we were social distancing and masking. Nope, never did that. And went a couple years without catching a cold. No, not really. It's just because there was no cold. It was only Rona. So if you had a cough, if you felt sick or fever, it was just Rona. There was nothing in between. So it's not that you didn't catch a cold. It's just that you were okay. And look, the whole okay. It's triggering to no end that these people foisted this thing upon us that, of course, I thought was all about getting the orange man, and that was certainly part of it. But it was clearly a much larger worldwide takeover. And now they're writing articles like this, pretending that there's no correlation and nobody knew. And now we're presenting new information of how people are getting sicker on the Bay Area because you guys are all morons. Now, as things revert more towards normal, bro, it's 2024 and it's just now, it's getting more toward normal. We're contracting a lot of these viruses again that we hadn't seen for a couple of years. Our response could be different. People catching a cold for the first time in a while may experience it more severely because their immune system has not been repeatedly exposed like it had been in the past. And it didn't take a doctor to know that from the beginning. Oh my God. There's also a bit of psychological component, a heightened anxiety around coughing. Yeah, okay. How to kick the cough. Nothing out here is going to solve it. Okay. So these are things that we all knew from the beginning. Be cautious about what you're taking. You know what? No, yeah. You have a cough in 2024. Has nothing to do with Rona. And there's really no way to solve it. but just make sure that you don't inject your body with foreign solutions. This is absolutely through the roof. And look, it goes on. These people are terrible.